Today I want to get into some trouble with Jung Kook due to his home being leaked and various situations. I wanted to get into an alleged hotel staff talking about Jung Kook and then HYBE taking legal action. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey spilling mug merch, and let's go. Recently, we've gotten a statement from HYBE, and the statement talks about the legal action that the company will take to protect their artists and what actions they have done and will do. You might notice if you follow along a lot of BTS news channels that there tends to be an uptick in people covering that HYBE was taking legal action. The reason being, or at least one of them, is due to the amount of harassment BTS news channels get every time these statements come out. This is not the fault of the label themselves because they have to do what they have to do, but a lot of the fandom will take that opportunity to say that it's the news channels that are the ones who HYBE hates. Now, I don't know who HYBE hates, but it definitely goes to show the immaturity of people in the fandom to just start attacking anyone who has ever even mentioned BTS. I mean, I think I still saw people coming for James Corden still, even past their drama. Like they resolved it on air and these fans still think HYBE is going to come for him. Likely if there were any issues, they would just talk it out. Also, you can't take legal action on someone for making rude comments. Even if I say your fan base is only 13-year-old girls, which is what James was accused of saying, you can't take legal action on that. But funny enough, these people think you can, but they aren't considering the fact that the mean things that they're saying to James or any news site could make James or the news site sue you. The people who then say, I hope HYBE sues you and you die, hadn't considered the fact that the person they're saying this to could sue you for death threats or defamation. But anyway, the statement that HYBE released a couple days ago mentioned that they will be taking legal action on people, and there's some people that they currently have in mind already. They mentioned the measures that they will take, and I think this is all great, as this would definitely limit the amount of death threats and craziness that the boys receive, or at least slightly less. One part of the statement mentioned that there's been certain websites in which the boys have been attacked on, and they want to take legal action on those posts and claim there is a spread of false information about the boys on there. So this is different from misinformation. Misinformation could be less intentional and due to mistake, whereas false information is simply just false. Media tends to spread and do misinformation all the time, as they don't tend to know every aspect about an artist and of course get information confused or messed up. False information is simply things like so-and-so committed a crime when there is literally no such evidence. Such false information is believed to be the recent spread of Jung Kook and other BTS members being spotted at certain places, or stalkers saying that they have BTS members' personal information like phone numbers or addresses. Although this is just believed to be a reason for this legal issue. However, I don't know if you can take legal action for that, as if you claim you know someone's address or phone number and you don't, then the artist isn't physically hurt, nor could they get hurt. The false information that HYBE is talking about is likely referring to people who are simply lying to hurt the artist's reputation. This also tells me that the stalker issue is not as big as the media is trying to make it seem, and there really hasn't been too big of an issue where the boys' real private information has been leaked. Even with the situation with RM and the co-rail employee, there didn't seem to be any leakage of his phone number or address that came out. And I do believe if this was a big issue, this would be the first thing HYBE would do. Jung Kook, although has been in trouble recently, or scared to be, recently Jung Kook's address or location of his new house has been leaked, sort of. News started to cover that there are rumors Jung Kook is building a 12,000 square feet mansion in the middle of Seoul, or at least one of the wealthiest parts of Seoul. Back in 2021, it was believed that Jung Kook had purchased a really luxury condo in that area, and now he has decided he wants a bigger space. There was photos and news coverage of cranes and builders in the area creating the home, and this could cause two types of backlash. One person was definitely concerned about how this was posted and if the news sites had permission to post about where the location was. Given that no, the exact location was never reported anywhere, but talking about the exact district and area, which I won't post here, would still make the home quite easy to spot given the cranes and construction happening now. People in the comments were talking about the home and hoping that this wasn't leaked and that Jung Kook would get a lot of security since people know about it now. I actually don't know how it got out, which makes me believe it could have been released by Jung Kook's PR, but this is just a conspiracy theory. But it was reported that it took Jung Kook 2 years to get the builder's permit, and he has been in the process of this for a while. The exact layout and floors and rooms were all listed for this new build. and people are thinking that it was a stalker who leaked all this. When news sites know the details intimately, it's usually released by the artist or their team to drum up more publicity. It's not always the case, and it's not that Jung Kook needs publicity per se, but since he is on Calvin Klein and possibly working on new stuff, this is around the time we are going to see an uptick in headlines, so just be aware of how the industry works and how headlines work. The other concern or possible backlash are the people who now think Jung Kook is not relatable anymore. And this has been an issue that has followed BTS for a while, and an even bigger issue for those who are upcoming. I read a while ago some comments that were saying how they were disappointed in Jung Kook because he was so rich now and it takes away the relatability of him, because people love to support an upcoming celebrity. But once the celebrity reaches mainstream attention and people can't ignore that they're rich, they start to lose interest and move on to other upcoming persons, as everyone loves to support the underdog. BTS can no longer hide that they are rich, and they've been rich for a while. Spoiler alert, you don't need to be at the global level that BTS are at to be multi-millionaires. There's upcoming rappers that are not mainstream that maybe get 1 million views on their music videos and that's it, and they are multi-millionaires. But the issue with this is that a lot of these celebrities will try to hide that for as long as they can in order to still seem relatable and normal to the public, because a lot of them are scared that if they show their wealth in any capacity, they suddenly are unrelatable and will lose a big chunk of their following. The issue with dating in K-pop is that the idols make themselves seem too touchable and down to earth that the fandom thinks that they're dating the idol. So when the idol finally reveals that they're dating someone else who is rich and pretty, the fandom snaps back to reality to realize, oh, I don't have a chance, even though most of us don't have a chance. So when the artist is building things like a mansion, people can definitely get disappointed and sad that the idol is in fact someone they can't date, but possibly someone who they will never even be friends with. Most of us are not friends with multimillionaires, right? So I don't think Jung Kook will be in trouble in that aspect, but there's been some alleged leaking of personal information that came online. Apparently, a hotel staff leaked the exact rooms and everything of where the BTS boys were staying during one of their trips. The exact hotel I will not name, but the only reason I feel it's okay to show this information is because they are long gone from this area, and quite honestly, the more people know, the less likely BTS will ever stay at this particular hotel. But it was shown that the members are staying on the 3rd floor, and each of them had separate rooms except for Taeyang and Jung Kook. This of course sparked the dating rumors, as the hotel staff who leaked it had intended to do this to allegedly bring attention to the gay dating rumor. Now we also have to take this with a grain of salt, because anyone can type up a room chart and leak it to say that they are hotel staff. But I do think it's interesting that rumors of stalkers come up a lot when these two are together, because it could literally be any member together and the dating rumors don't really happen as much. There were people who were arguing that the same thing happens when it's with Jung Kook and Jimin as well, to say that there's many moments where those two are together, so both rumors are invalid. But we will never know until they confirm it themselves. The rumor with Jung Kook and Taeyang come up in this scenario, as opposed to rumors of the boys just sharing a room, which they normally do, and even sharing a bed, which they normally do, because people think it's odd that the two could have easily rented another room and each member could have their own personal room. This is usually not a problem because the company was rumored to rent out an entire floor when they go to hotels just to ensure privacy, and no unauthorized person is ever coming into that floor. So why did the members need to double up? There's many reasons for this. First off, people didn't catch that Jin and Jimin also shared a room. So this tells me that the hotel could have just been smaller, or there was very limited space at that specific hotel. If you go to places like New York, you'll definitely see that. I've lived here my entire life, so I have obviously never gotten a hotel here, but one time I had friends stay, I got to see how small it was. They have one floor, sometimes it's like 5 rooms. And companies tend to book hotels and flights last minute in case something comes up before they have to go, and so they don't have to go because nothing is booked. So likely there were many rooms that were taken and they needed to double up. There's definitely a lot of speculation and rumors that happened, but I think we need to listen to the boys and definitely don't pay too much attention to these weird leaks of false information. Let me know what you think, and make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just love the comment right here. Love you, bye.